What if the world's most profitable company wasn't Apple, Google, or Amazon? What if it didn't sell you a phone, a subscription, or a single product you could touch? In 2022, Aramco earned $161 billion in pure profit. That's more than the combined profits of Apple, Meta, and Tesla together. And yet, you've probably never seen an Aramco ad. You don't follow them on Instagram, and you've definitely never walked into an Aramco store. This is the untold story of how Saudi Arabia built a $2 trillion oil empire, in secret, in the desert, and with a blueprint designed for domination. It starts in 1933. The Saudi government signs a deal with Standard Oil of California to explore for oil. At the time, Saudi Arabia was mostly desert, with no proven oil reserves, just a gamble. But in 1938, that gamble paid off. At Dammam Well No. 7, they struck oil, a lot of it. This was the beginning of Aramco, originally the Arab-American Oil Company. American engineers came in. They built roads, ports, and entire towns. Oil flowed, pipelines spread, and Saudi Arabia transformed from desert kingdom to rising energy power. For decades, Aramco was controlled by U.S. oil giants. But in the 1970s, everything changed. Saudi Arabia started buying back shares, first 25%, then 60%, and by 1980, they owned it all. Aramco became fully Saudi. Eventually, they rebranded it Saudi Aramco. And with full control came a new playbook. Stay quiet, stay off the radar, but scale everything. Aramco went from a regional producer to a global force, building refineries, terminals, and the world's most advanced oil transport network. Aramco's crown jewel? The Ghawar field. Discovered in 1948, Ghawar is the largest conventional oil field on Earth. It alone produces more oil than most countries. But Aramco isn't just sitting on oil. It built a vertically integrated empire. It drills, it refines, it ships, it trades, all with near military precision. They control everything from deep-sea tankers to pipelines under the sand. Their Ras Tanura terminal moves millions of barrels a day. This isn't just oil, it's infrastructure at nation-state scale. For most of its history, Aramco avoided the spotlight. No public financials, no IPO, no attention. That changed in 2019 when Aramco went public, raising $25.6 billion in the world's largest IPO ever. But make no mistake, this wasn't a typical company. Even as a public entity, the Saudi state still owns over 94%. This wasn't capitalism, it was state capitalism. The IPO gave the world a peek into the books. Massive profits, low production costs, and an operation that ran more like a sovereign fund than a startup. Post-IPO, Aramco started reinventing itself. They launched a $1.5 billion venture capital fund. They invested in renewables, AI, even hydrogen. Not because oil is over, but because the future demands a new face. Today, Aramco funds R&D labs, sponsors F1 teams, and talks sustainability. Why? Because part of their job is PR for the future of Saudi Arabia. Vision 2030. Aramco isn't just an oil company. It's the engine behind an entire country's transformation. So what's the blueprint? Own the source, reserves, control the system, pipelines, ports, ships. Stay quiet, avoid politics, attract capital. Scale globally. Refineries in China, India, Korea. Aramco did what few ever could. Turn a national resource into a hyper-efficient, globally dominant business. And they did it without ever selling directly to a single consumer. Aramco isn't just a company. It's an empire, built in the desert, backed by a throne, engineered to print money. It doesn't advertise. It doesn't trend, but it doesn't need to. Because when you control the fuel for the global economy, you don't need followers, you need pipelines.